Hey guys, what's up? Excoundrel here, and today we are going to be covering core concepts in Command & Conquer Rivals. This was technically my launch video, so this is brought to you by EA Game Changers and sponsored by EA. However, I wanted to do something cool for my launch video. A lot of people will probably do gameplay videos or just sort of showing you the game through playing. I've already done a lot of that on my channel, so I thought that my launch video should be talking about core concepts in Command & Conquer Rivals and how you can understand them and take them and make yourself a better player. So, let's start with our first core concept. You have a harvester, you can move it. Yes, the harvester functions like any other unit in the game, except for when it is placed on a Tiberium patch, it happily increases your Tiberium income. There will be times, however, where you are going to have to move your harvester out of harm's way, and that involves actually moving it. You can also use it to contest points like you do with any other unit in the game, so don't forget your harvester is movable, and that can really save you big time when it comes to defending, but also contesting points. Core Concept 2, attacking and defending harvesters. There will be times in the game where you are going to have to defend your harvester. That is simply because people in the game are going to be aggressive, they're going to look to try and put pressure on your economy early on. So, defending your harvester comes with moving your harvester and then getting something in between that threat and your harvester. In this case, I used a choke point to make sure my missile troopers or my laser troopers were defending against those attack bike rushers. I managed to hold off, and even though it looks like I'm losing the battle, he is completely starved as he did not go for a harvester of his own. If you can defend your harvester successfully, then that can actually give you a massive advantages in game, depending on at what point your harvester is being attacked and what your opponent did. There will be times when you're going to want to go aggressive versus harvesters. For instance, this guy opened up a double harvester for me, and that meant that I was immediately going to rush that with my jump jet troopers. I place my riflemen just in the way of the immediate path to the harvesters, creating a body block zone when my jump jet troopers can very happily go and take out his harvesters. That is a situation when an opponent opens with a double harvester and you're playing an aggressive deck, you want to punish that. You want to be able to get up there and take those harvesters out to get yourself a massive economy lead. There are also times when you've just taken a point, especially when you're playing an aggro deck, where you're going to want to use the pressure created from the point take and go directly after your opponent's harvester, like eWizzle did in this game versus Gasty. He's putting pressure on the opponent's harvester, which is 1, limiting his economy income, but 2, forcing his opponent to find a response, whilst the rest of the map is dealt with by eWizzle's forces. The next topic is population cap, or pop cap. Pop cap is simply the amount of units that you can have on the field, and it is indicated by that small bar on the bottom left hand side that fills up over time with the amount of units that you have. Each individual bar represents a unit that you have on the field, of which your harvesters count towards, and you can have a maximum of 6. Even that single shockwave trooper counts as an entire pop cap space, so sacrificing it to make way for something better can often be the case, and that comes with experience playing. It's all about knowing when and where to sacrifice units to make way for that pop cap space that they provide, especially if you're running a tech heavy deck like I am in this video. A single shockwave trooper is not going to match to the might of a titan, and they both take up 1 population cap spot. The more units you have, the longer it's going to take for you to get more units out. The cooldown that you see on those units spawning will go up the more units that you have and the closer that you approach to the pop cap, so do bear that in mind. Let's talk about squad mechanics now, because some people do get confused about what a squad mechanic is. You may have noticed that certain units that you have built come with a number of troops or a number of vehicles in that unit squad. This means that the DPS is shared between each individual unit. For instance, with the shockwave troopers, as you lose units in that particular squad, you also lose a portion of the DPS. Each shockwave trooper contributes a third of its overall damage, so as you lose one, you lose a third. All you need to do is take 100% and divide it by the number of people in the squad. For instance, the missile troopers, each missile trooper represents 25% DPS for that individual squad. This is both a blessing and a curse, however. I've talked about the cursed part of it as you lose the DPS as numbers of the squads go down. The blessing is that, especially for units that can only fire 1 shot at a time, squads need to be focused individually. If you take this drone squad versus my pitbulls, each of those individual drones need to be focused by the pitbull, which makes them inherently tanky versus this type of unit, which can be very difficult to deal with if you have a really big hitting unit and you're getting spammed with multiple squad units. I'm going to talk about capturing the missile now, and this will definitely feel obvious to a lot of you, but for some of you, you may not fully understand when you are and when you are not in control of a missile. So I'm going to use this to explain when you will be winning and when it's a draw on a 3-platform map. The yellow means a contested platform, the red means enemy, blue means yours, and grey means no one is stood on that platform at all. I'm not going to talk about each of the individual scenarios. You can pause the video and have a look at them. But what I do want you to know is that the platform will always charge if someone is stood on it. The platform will stay at a small bar that you can see on the right hand side of the platform if it is a neutrally contested platform, i.e. it's yellow. If no one is stood on the platforms, the platform will not charge. If someone is stood on the platforms, it doesn't matter if it is yellow or if it's one color, either red or blue, it will charge. So always keep that in mind. And there are lots of scenarios that you can combine to make sure that you are in control of that platform. When you are tied for a missile, like I said, the bar will be yellow and it will never move past that individual section that you see there on the missile charge. It'll only go past that when someone has wrestled control, and it'll either be a blue or a red missile depending on who is winning. Remember, yellow means that that platform is contested between you and your opponent. Grey means no one is on it, and blue and red means it's either in your control or the enemy control. On a 2-platform or 3-platform map, a contest at the right time can win you the game. Even if you have been behind and have been losing games, just getting a sneaky contest in a platform on to make sure that you have the overall color majority can be the make or break between winning a game of Command & Conquer Rivals. So make sure you know exactly what you need to do to wrestle control of those missile platforms. Now, micromanagement is a concept that is not unique to Command & Conquer Rivals. Micromanagement is something that has been around in real-time strategy games forever, and Command & Conquer Rivals is no different. Micromanagement encompasses a huge array of topics, which could really be covered in its own video, but let's try and cover it the best we can in this situation. The best I can describe it in Command & Conquer Rivals is the constant maneuvering or placement of your units to have a better purpose on the map, be it finding a better matchup for them in a military aspect, or just putting them at a crucial location on the map to either body block or contest points at the right time. It's not something that you're going to learn from this video alone. Micro takes hours of practice and often comes naturally to a lot of players as well. The simple explanation of it is the constant awareness and micromanagement of your units on the map. This means moving them, attacking with them, contesting points with them, just knowing exactly where they need to be at the right time, and continuously issuing commands to make sure that you achieve your goal. When you perfect micro, as a lot of players inevitably will do, it can give you the ability to clutch out on those really tense moments and win you games, like we just saw there. An extension of micro is body blocking. Now, body blocking is a very, very core concept in Command & Conquer Rivals and mainly applies to ground units. Body blocking can be used in multiple ways. It can be used to body block your enemies, body block for your friendly units, or just deny movements and deny pathing and change pathing of enemy units when it suits you. In this clip, I'm going to show you what it is to body block an enemy movement to help give you success when contesting pads, for instance. I am going to show you my pitbull here. As you can see, the enemy tank moves in as the final contest and the point comes through, and just by moving my pitbull back and forth, I body blocked the natural route of that predator tank, which allowed me to clutch out that missile at the final moment. This will give me the advantage in this game as I'm able to keep up pressure versus my opponent. But body blocking can be used in other ways too. For instance, you can body block a friendly unit. In this particular clip, I'm going to show you the use of my shockwave troopers. I have an aggressive maneuver going up against the enemy harvester. I am going to use my shockwave troopers to body block the quickest route to my jump jet troopers, which means I bought some extra crucial time, and I'm also body blocking a 2-pronged assault on my jump jet troopers, which gives me the ability to then take the enemy harvester, netting me a nice boost to my Tiberium economy. This is not only limited to ground units, however. You can use something like Lieutenant Strongarm's turret to change the pathing of enemy units, giving you that crucial change in pace needed to win a missile, for instance. In this clip, you see the placement of the Lieutenant Strongarm turret won them this first missile, which was very important. And finally, stay cool. This is something that a lot of people will struggle with, especially versus higher level units, but I do want to show you a game where I did have a disadvantage in terms of unit levels. This is when I was climbing to Tiberium as a Master 2 player GDI. I was 2 levels down on Rifleman, which meant I couldn't engage. Even if I had the defensive position, I was likely to lose out. However, unit levels do not mean everything. Now, there is a certain point where it does get frustrating, especially versus people of equal skill. But for the most part, when you're climbing, I always think there is room to outplay someone. Definitely always room to outplay someone. And this guy was in Tiberium League, quite significantly ahead of me. I was on my climb to Tiberium League at this point, so it's a bit of an old game, I know. But I want you to just pay attention to what I do with my units. Even at a unit level disadvantage, my primary goal is just about effectively countering my opponent and trying to put my units into positions where we're going to be the ones in control of the missile. It doesn't matter that my opponent is that far ahead of me, especially when I'm one step ahead of him in terms of thinking. You've just got to outthink your opponent. It doesn't matter what level your units are, as long as they're not at like a 5 unit level disadvantage or something, because there is always room to outplay someone in this game. And that's what I do like about it. There is always that room to outplay. So don't lose your cool when going up against someone with higher level units or going up against someone that doesn't have units that you have. You can always win in this game, even if the opponent has got those higher level units. Nothing replaces true skill, and that's something that you should always look to work on. True skill is more important in this game than unit levels. So stay cool. You will lose to people who have higher level units from time to time, but you can always outplay people in this game, and that is what is important. Right. Thank you very much for watching. I hope it was interesting and I hope you enjoyed it. I wanted to do something slightly different with my video for global launch instead of just a regular gameplay video, so I'm hoping this was useful for you, and I will see you soon.